Hello, my name's Barry, and I'm a local preacher in the Stoke South circuit. When I was a young lad, I was part of the Scout and Cub movement, and I think when I was at about 10, 11 years old, we went on a camp, and we went up to area near to Pendle Hill, reservoirs and forests, moorland. One of the activities that we did was a midnight hike. And being quite young, it was my first experience of this. I think most of the young lads on the trip, it was their first time of doing a midnight hike, and it got all very exciting. The meal before we went out, the leaders had told us a few ghost stories of what Pendle Hill was like and what we might expect to see when we were out and about. And on the walk, we had to, near the end of the walk, we had to walk down a path next to a wall, and on the other side was one of the forests. And just up ahead was a stone shack. No one knew what it was. It was dark, obviously. And as we approached the shack, there was a strange noise coming from the building. And as we looked, the door was slightly open, and all we could hear was this rumble or growl. And this just went on, and we didn't go past. We were scared because we weren't too sure exactly what was inside the building, and the fact that the door was slightly open was a little bit scary. So eventually one of the leaders walked up to the building and gingerly opened the door. And then he came back to us and he said, "It's okay, everything's fine." He says, "It's not a dog, it's nothing scary. It was just a generator or one of the big pumps used at the reservoir, just ticking over and just sparking into life every other second." And so we walked past, but we were still a bit unsure, and we sort of gritted our teeth as we went past. But we were scared of the unknown, worried about what was inside that building. Would it affect us? Would it hurt us? Jesus ascends into heaven, and the disciples, quite rightly, were worried and scared and uncertain of what might happen to them. But Jesus, knowing that his friends would be worried, had promised them that they would be given a gift, that they would not be left on their own. And it was the promise of the Holy Spirit that would enable them to go out and be his witnesses. He tells them to wait. You will be my witnesses, basically to the world. That's a heck of a responsibility for some non-professional people to take on. And they must still have been scared, no matter. They knew that what Jesus had told them would happen. But they must still have been scared of the uncertainty, not knowing what was going to happen to their lives over the next few weeks, few months, and few years. I was watching one of these daytime programs, Antiques Road Trip. It's where experts buy antiques from different shops or markets, and then they sell them at auction to try and make a bit of money. And one of the items that one of the experts bought was a Victorian mirror. And it was a beautiful mahogany mirror, wooden framed mirror. But the mirror itself was all was all cloudy and pitted and a bit of a mess. Original piece of glass. And when the expert, when the auctioneer looked at it, he said one thing, and it stuck in my mind. He said, "It's a beautiful mirror, but I wouldn't want to look at myself through it. I wouldn't want to see myself through that mirror." And Jesus asks us to be his witnesses. He wants us to be that mirror for other people to see him. And that's a huge challenge. When people look at you, I want them to see me. And it doesn't have to be the big things. It doesn't have to be the hard things. Jesus wants us to show love and kindness. He wants us to be helpful and caring, not just to our family or our close friends, but to everybody. And that's our challenge today. When people look at us, will they see Jesus?